This is a wage slip for Mary, who earns a monthly wage of €7,000 and overtime of €600. She pays PAYE at a rate of 40% and has a monthly tax credit of €275. She pays PRSI at 4% and USC at 5.5%. Using the details above, complete Mary's payslip for 31st of May 2019. We'll start with putting in the date on the payslip, which is given to us at the end of the question, and it is the 31st of May 2019. It's important to put in the dates when you see it, as this is getting us marks right away. Next, we can see Mary earns a monthly wage of €7,000 and earns overtime of €600 for the month of May. So on the wage slip, we'll look for these entries, which is under the earnings heading. In here, we'll enter €7,000 basic wage and €600 overtime for May. The next box we have under earnings is gross pay, which is the total amount of money an employee earns before any deductions or taxes are taken out. So in our case, it's what's above us. So that is the basic wage and overtime. We simply add these together, which gives Mary a gross pay of €7,600 for the month of May. So unfortunately for Mary, that isn't her take-home pay. The government want a chunk of Mary's earnings for May, which is known as deductions, what you can see highlighted here, and there's quite a lot of deductions. PAYE stands for pay as you earn. It's a system used to collect income tax and national insurance contributions from employees' wages. PRSI stands for pay related social insurance. It's a type of social insurance in Ireland that employees and employers contribute to through deductions from wages. USD stands for universal social charge. It's a tax in Ireland that is deducted from your income. The amount you pay depends on how much you earn, with higher earners paying a higher rate. We'll look firstly at our deductions. We'll come back to the tax credits in a second. So Mary pays PAYE at a rate of 40%, PRSI at 4% and USC at 5.5%. I've highlighted them here. We're also given boxes on the right here to calculate our workings. Important to note here, when calculating deductions, we always use our gross pay. We'll start with PAYE. Here, we take our gross pay of €7,600 and find out what 40% of this is, which works out at €3,040. Our PAYE is income tax, and we also have tax credits, which is €275 per month. Tax credits, as we know, reduces the amount of income tax we have to pay. So if we owe €3,040 in income tax, we must take away our tax credits of €275 to reduce the tax bill. And this results in a final total of €2,765 of tax due. We'll put this into the PAYE column on the wage slip. Next up is PRSI, which is calculated at 4%. So again here we simply enter our gross pay of €7,600 and find 4% of it, which works out at €304 in PRSI Mary must pay for May. Next is our USC, which is calculated at 5.5%. Again, take our gross pay of €7,600 and find out what 5.5% is of it, and this works out at €418 in USC for May. Our next step is to simply add up all our deductions. So this is adding up PAYE, PRSI and USC to see what our total tax bill is, and this amounts to €3,487 in tax due in May. Our final box to fill in on the wage slip is Mary's net pay. Net pay is the amount of money you take home after all deductions such as taxes, social insurance and other contributions have been subtracted from your gross pay. To find our net pay, it's simple. It's basically just subtracting the deductions from the gross pay. To give that a bit more context, Mary earned €7,600 in May. That's her gross pay. The government came along and wanted a chunk of it. That chunk is known as deductions such as PAYE, PRSI and USC, and that all came to €3,487. So out of her €7,600 gross pay, the government took €3,487 of it, and what's left is Mary's take-home pay. So take €3,487 away from €7,600, and this leaves Mary with a net take-home pay of €4,113. So after earning €7,600 in May, Mary only seen €4,113 of this money. A question like this is worth around 23 marks. Anything you see highlighted in blue is worth marks, so it's important to enter things such as dates and never forget to show your workings. This shows who is correct in your test, how you got your answers. Hope you found this video helpful and good luck in your exams.